Prostitution is a very serious matter, and not many preachers are talking about prostitution. But we know prostitution is a problem, and it's been an issue for many, many years, many decades. Now, this particular lesson is part two of a five-part series about prostitution. And this particular lesson is titled, No One Helped Me. How many times has some young girl, as she tries to find the balance in her life, she gets into prostitution? She runs away from the home, or she gets involved with someone that is older than her, or someone that views her in that way. So no one is helping her. No one around her, in the sense of not being good for her, are there for her. So she gets put into prostitution, or she gets forced into prostitution. Her life going down the wrong path with potentially drugs and alcohol, having children. Her life being at risk on a daily basis, getting verbally and mentally, emotionally, and spiritually abused. She views this way of life as her only way in life. But is this what God is wanting from a woman that he created from man to be together? In the book of 2 Thessalonians, in chapter 3, verse 5, may the Lord direct your hearts into God's love and Christ's perseverance. God can help you. God can guide your life. God can guide that person you may know that's in prostitution. We need to give him a chance to show us the right door to go into and close these doors in our lives that will lead to a permanent separation from the Lord, a permanent death. And it's time to do this. Too many young girls have been put in a very difficult situation. Their bodies have become the means of unrighteousness and evil, because the world is trying to get something out of them that was not the design that God created. In the book of 1 Corinthians, in chapter 3, verse 16, don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple? Woman was created from God. It was his perfect design to complement man, and so the two can become one flesh, husband and wife, living for his purpose, and not a young girl or a teenager or a young woman being put into prostitution, giving her body to the world, turning from the Lord. And that God's Spirit dwells in your midst. God knows what has taken place. And it's not pleasing to this evil that he sees. A woman that is in, or a young girl or teenager being forced into prostitution. Or they may be doing prostitution as a way that they feel that they need to make a living. Or the way that they feel that it is what's best for them. They don't value their lives in a way that God sees it. They feel that this is their way of escape from the pain and suffering and how they view themselves in this world. But God's Spirit dwells within your midst because he created you for his purpose, not for the purpose of the world to take advantage of you and misuse you and mistreat you. God wants you to be treated properly, being in his presence and honoring him and living for him and being obedient. See, we need to know exactly where the proper love comes from in the book of 1 John in chapter 4, verse 8. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. What that young girl or teenager or young woman, what they're experiencing, it is not love. It is not of God. It is not fruitful or righteous. God wants you to live properly. And we need to live for him, as John wrote in 1 John chapter 4, verse 16. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. We need to rely on that love, not the love of this world for money and other possessions. Because God is love and we need his love. And whoever lives in love lives in God. And see, when we follow the devil, we have no way of escape. We would die not only physically, we would die spiritually. We need to keep the commandments of God, the commands of God. The book of John, chapter 14, verse 15. If you love me, keep my commands. My commands. Not the commands of the world, not what someone else are forcing us to do. And use these young women and these girls, these teenagers, to be put in that situation. Those are not men of God. God didn't create that evil. And it's time right now, if you know someone or if you have gone through being in prostitution and you've made some changes in your life, but you haven't taken the proper leap to be with the Lord, it's time to take that additional step in your life and close the chapter properly and be with the Lord. Be there for your families, for your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. The time is always right now. Or if you know someone that is in prostitution right now, or have left their home and they're somewhere where you don't know, they're on the street somewhere. You know that they're doing something like that or similar to that. And it's hard for you to think about it. Share this lesson with them. Pray for them. Ask the Lord to lift them up continually to find that open door for the everlasting life that is only found in Jesus Christ.